You have to stop using conversion LUTs and start using color management instead. But what actually is it and how do you use color management in Adobe Premiere in 2026? So every video file has a color space to it, and a normal looking video will typically have a REC.709 color space, which is just the industry word for like a normal looking video. This is also the color space that you want to share your video in, for example, on social media. However, if you really want to color grade your footage, it's better to film that video in a log color space, which will result in a more flat and low contrast, low saturation video file out of the camera, but it just has a lot more data to work with when you're color grading your footage. Now, to make your log footage look like you want it to look like, there are basically two options. Option one is to use a LUT or a lookup table that will transform those colors of your footage to make them look like a standard REC.709 file, and then you can grade your style from there. Now, the issue here is that a LUT is basically like a color grading preset that will just make your colors look different. Now, a color profile or a color space goes well beyond what the file actually looks like. It's a more technical thing in the actual file. So if you just slap a LUT on your footage, you'll still be in that log color space, but it will just look like a REC.709 file. So that is where option 2, which is color management, comes into play. So instead of using a coloring preset, you can actually change the way your editing software interprets the colors and the color space of the file. So this will allow for Premiere to actually transform those colors from the log color space to that REC.709 color space more mathematically and more technically, like under the hood. And this is something that you can do with color management. Now, the great thing is that you will see the color managed preview or the REC.709 preview of the footage when you're working with your color grades, and you're actually using the whole data of that log file when you're doing work this way. Whereas with a LUT, you might in some cases be doing a bit of a destructive workflow for your footage. So you shouldn't just use a LUT that will change the way your footage looks, but instead use color management to actually change the color space that you're working in for a more technically correct workflow. Now, doing this is actually very simple, so let's jump into Premiere. Now, there is a setting in Premiere that will allow for Premiere to automatically detect your log media, but it just doesn't really work yet, so we have to do this manually for now. Now, after you've imported all of your clips into Premiere, you should sort them out by the color profile. So for example, if you have drone footage, you've got mirrorless camera footage, maybe even from a couple of different cameras, and then for example, action cam footage, put all of these different cameras into their own bins so it's just easier to manage everything in Premiere. Now, for my example, the B-roll type clips that I have here are from a Canon C50 and the talking head is from an R6 Mark II. So I'll create two new bins and name them by the camera and then drop those files into the correct bins. Then select all clips from that one camera, right click, go to modify and then to color. And in here you have a few options, but for now we can just focus on a couple of them. If Premiere doesn't automatically detect the color space, which at least for Canon footage it just doesn't really do, select override media color space and then select the color space that you shot this footage in. For me, the clips from the C50 are shot in Canon Log 2, so I'll choose that. Also make sure that the preserve RGB box is not checked. Then I'll go to the talking head clip and do the same thing, but this time choose Canon Log 3 because that's what it was shot in. And that is actually all you need to do to make your files color managed in Premiere. So it's super simple, but there are some more settings to tweak if you really want to take advantage of this. So let's go over those real quick. Now, I'll be working in the new color mode, but you can find all of the same in the old Lumetri color as well. First, if you haven't already, open up the color management window in the color mode workspace. With Lumetri color, this can be found under the settings tab. Now, in here you have a lot more settings to tweak than in the clip settings window, but I'll just close all of this down for now so that we have a more clear view of this whole color management tab. Now, under preferences and then under display color, make sure that you have the display color management checked. After that, go to project, and one setting that you should change if you're mainly going to post your video on the web is the viewer gamma. Now, a very quick and dirty way to explain this viewer gamma thing is that every software or every platform has a different way of interpreting the colors and the contrasts of your file, and this is determined by the viewer gamma. So, for example, web-based apps and social media use a different gamma than broadcast, and for example, Apple QuickTime has a completely different viewer gamma, and that is also why the colors exported out of Premiere will look pretty much washed out on Apple computers because of that viewer gamma mismatch. So in the viewer gamma settings, you should select 2.2 web if the video is mainly going to be shown online or, for example, in social media, and then the colors should display correctly as you intended while color grading. Now we can skip the source clip tab because we did those tweaks earlier on while changing the color space of our footage. But under the sequence tab, you have a couple of important settings. For the output color space, you're most likely going to want to go with REC.709 unless you're creating an HDR video for whatever reason. And above that, you have the color setup tab, which you're going to want to have either at the same setting as the output color space, so usually REC.709, and I would go with the direct REC.709. Or if all of your footage is shot in log, you should select one of the wide gamut options. I'd recommend going with the first one, which is the tone mapped one. The wide gamut working color space will give you a better and a kind of a more smoother handling of those log files, for example, in the highlights. Now you can still take advantage of that log data that you have with a REC.709 working color space, but you just have the absolute best handling of those log files if you use the wide gamut working color space. So that is what you should use for the log footage, but you can still work in a REC.709 working color space if for whatever reason you want to. Now under the sequence tab, you have the advanced tab, and there are a few settings, but I just leave these as they are. And this all has to do with the math that is going on in the background. So the default settings should work just fine. And if you change the color setup, so for example, from the wide gamut to the direct REC.709, you can see some of these settings change, like the working color space changes from ACES to REC.709. So you don't need to touch these. These are automatically changed when you change some of the other settings. And then there's still the sequence clip tab, but you don't need to touch that one either. And that is all of the settings for the color management. And now that you have this set up, you can color grade your footage just like you normally would. So basically in the end, the end result that you get out of Premiere might be pretty much the exact same as with a LUT workflow, but this is just a technically better way to work with your log footage than using a conversion LUT. And I know all of this stuff is very technical and very complex, but you don't have to make it that difficult. Just kind of set the settings right once, and when you figure out how they kind of work and what you should have, you're good to go. This is a very deep rabbit hole, so I've just scratched the surface of color spaces, color modes, and color profiles, color management, all of that. So if you want to learn more, you can just start Googling about all of this, but I guarantee you don't really want to maybe or need to go that deep into the rabbit hole. It's a deep well if you dig really far into this stuff. Now there's one more quick thing. If you for whatever reason want to disable the color management and view the footage as it was shot in, you can go back into the settings, and under the sequence color setup tab, just click on disable color management and you will see the log file that you have shot. But that is all I have for today. Now I recommend you to create like a sequence preset when you've tweaked these settings, maybe even like a project preset that you can use so that you don't have to do these tweaks ever again. You just have everything kind of set up perfectly and then just change the imported footage color space so that you have if all of these settings in the color mode tab are set up correctly, all you have to do is change the footage color space to be the correct one, and everything will work perfectly. So just set these up once, create presets, and you're good to go. And hopefully Premiere will start to automatically identify the color space of the footage as well. So you don't even have to do that part. It's just all works magically in the background. You have, I can't talk anymore. And you have a perfectly color managed footage workflow, timeline, sequence, project, whatever going on. And that is all I have for today. My brain is not braining anymore. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope I will see you in the next one.